How would you like to create radiant health to become the woman you aspire to be and glow from the inside out, transform and empower yourself to embody the wellness you desire? Anna Fink will tell us how. And what's so special about Anna is that she's a wellness architect and lifestyle designer who is pioneering an innovative path in the wellness space. And she has created a body of work called Embodied Wellness, designed to transform the body, mind, and soul. And embodied wellness is both science and spirituality, art and alchemy. Anna supports clients through a transformational embodiment and empowerment journey. So Anna, tell us, how can entrepreneurial women create radiant health? Heal Podcast with Lily Patrascu shares longevity and anti-aging techniques to stay young forever, increase energy, overcome addiction, and live your longest, best life ever, shared by world's most innovative, alternative, and traditional health thought leaders, healers, and doctors. Discover quantum healing strategies to heal your mind, body, and soul.
Thank you so much, Lily. It's a pleasure to be here. And truly what I want women to know is that their health is in their own hands. And I feel like we've been programmed to feel powerless when it comes to our health and disconnected from our bodies. And we live in a very masculine energy world that's telling us to do more, to achieve. And we're very much ingrained to operate in that way. And so for women to remember that the key to their power is within their own body and that their health truly is their own creation is so powerful. And it's not about doing more. I think we get so caught up in doing and checking off the to-do list and making wellness another check mark on our list instead of realizing that it's really about our lifestyle. Our work, our success is a byproduct, an extension of our wellness.
Thank you. Tell us more about your method of creating radiant health. How does that differ versus, because you've just mentioned we live in a masculine energy. Tell us how normal women tend to operate, and what's your method like that is different versus the way normal, the way regular, ordinary women tend to operate from their masculine energy. How does that differ in terms of like actual things that women tend to do, and what should be different?
Absolutely. I mean, it's so unique in that it's curated to each body. Everyone has a unique body blueprint. Everyone, if you're familiar with human design, that's the science of differentiation. It's a tool to help us understand who we're here to be, how we're designed to be. And so much of the world has programmed us to achieve more, to do more, and operate by doing more. And there's the method Be Do Have, where you embody that frequency, and everything in this universe is energy. So it's a lot of quantum physics and quantum energetics of embodying the essence of that woman, of the woman who has radiant health, feels sensual, confident in her body, feels she glows, all of the things that you desire. We think that we have to do this to then have that, to be that person, but it's actually being in that frequency, embodying radiant health, and then letting that inspire what you do in terms of creating and designing a lifestyle that aligns with your values, your human design, your body blueprint, because everyone is so unique. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's a very curated, bespoke method.
Thank you. So how does a woman embody the beingness? Like, how can she manifest being the way you mentioned so that she's kind of like attracting the rest of what she desires through kind of first being in a certain way? How does she get to be in that way?
Yes. And sometimes I feel like we focus a lot on the question of how do I create radiant health? How do I get this? How do I do that? And my question is, it's not about how, it's about who. It's about the woman you are, the woman you become. And so for the women listening and for us right now, we can just take a moment to pause and to breathe and just feel like what it feels like to be in your body right now, knowing that now is the only moment we have. And in this moment, we create the future. We create that which we desire. So our manifestation is an extension of our soul expression and who we're being now. So focus on feeling like, who are you and what does that feel like to be here now?
Thank you. Give us an example of how you manifested being the woman of your dreams, and how did that work out for you? Like, where did you notice like a change, or were you always like that from the beginning?
I was not like this. I'm very type A. I was on the path to become a medical doctor and very much in the masculine doing energy, trying to achieve more. I was burning myself out. I got accepted to medical school. My mom's health crisis led me to pour into literature and find a new way. And before I moved back to the United States, because prior to that I was living in Chile, South America, but it was in a meditation. I started meditating. I started doing more yoga, connecting to my body, and that's what helped me get more present and feel what I was feeling. I had this meditation where I saw myself back in the US and I saw the woman I was becoming. It was like Dr. Joe's work. And this was before I ever discovered Dr. Joe Dispenza, where it's forecasting who you become, like who are you becoming, and seeing yourself being that essence, acting like her, thinking like her, feeling like her. And I saw this vision of her. She was reading more, she was moving her body, yoga, focusing on her health and wellness, really innovating in her life. And I moved back to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I started doing all of these things. And from that place of connecting to that essence, the aligned action came. And then it just was an evolution that transpired naturally. And I think instead of focusing on what to do and how to do it, start focusing on who you are and how you want to feel in your life, because it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of who. And when you focus on you and your becoming, radiance, success, fulfillment, confidence, power, they are inevitable.
Thank you. I remember many moments when you can say, I was that girl, I was that woman that you can say could manifest anything. And I'm still a master manifester, but I find that sometimes I kind of snap out of that when there's disempowering contexts around me, like when there's a disempowering environment or when there's criticism, on where there's disappointment. And then I step away from that, taking that aligned action that kind of leads me into being that girl, being that woman that fully appreciates herself and, that woman that is always in flow. So how can someone cope with disempowering contexts that lead to coming out of that alignment, that lead to coming out of that feeling of, I can have anything I want, including radiant health?
Of course. And something you mentioned that was so interesting is when you come out of alignment of that flow, knowing that flow and fluctuation happens. So in that alignment, you're going to experience contrast, that which you don't want, or you're going to maybe experience an old pattern coming up, but that doesn't mean that's who you are nor where you're going. That just is a sign that, it's a little test and it's showing you something else that wants to be revealed, healed, and released. So those moments of what we perceive to be misalignment are actually opportunities to come into stronger alignment. And our true power is within our body. So for me, embodied wellness is about embodiment. When we are connected to our bodies, we are empowered in our lives. And a woman in her power is so undeniable. And I feel like with society, we've been suppressed and oppressed for so many years. And so being in our bodies hasn't always felt safe. We haven't always felt like we can be fully our truest selves. And so when we come into that connection with ourselves and we learn to validate ourselves, we can go into any kind of context where we might have in the past, in historical terms or circumstances, felt disempowered. Now we come in there and we remember that who we are and the internal vibration that we exude affects the external. It's not about letting the external impact us, because our true power is not dependent on circumstances. It's dependent on our connection to our bodies, to our soul.
Thank you. I've gone through moments where I've had radiant health, and I've gone through moments where I've had terrible health, like where I was struggling for the last 10 years with sore throat and cough and migraine. And I'm kind of gradually snapping out of that and returning to love and joy and health. And for the most part, I am recovering. I'm recovered. And one thing that I think is a can be a big problem is stepping into your radiant health and being authentically who you are in the face of fear. So how does someone kind of step into their radiant health and manifest who they want to become, and in spite of, in spite of having limiting beliefs or fear, or you can say a fear of not belonging, a fear of not fitting in, because sometimes there's all of these limiting beliefs and all of these like negative things that happen around you can lead to you losing your sparkle.
It's so beautiful you ask this, and know that you're always healing. Our body, our symptoms are simply a sign of imbalance in our body. Our symptoms are codes, and we're always coding our body either for survival or creation, radiance, etc. And so when we know that we are coding our body, our reality in every moment, that is us reclaiming our power. And so know that these signals, these symptoms are signals from the body that when you decode them, you can recode your body for radiance and health. And so it's navigating everything in life, knowing that fear is inevitable. Like fear is going to be there. Fear is this mechanism in the reptilian mind, in the reptilian brain designed to keep us safe. However, sometimes the very things that keep us safe actually limit us. And fear has been such an interesting contemplation for me, because if you're familiar with human design and you know the motivations, my motivation is actually fear. So for the last few years, I've been walking very bravely with fear. And when there's fear, a lot of us contract and feel like we're off path or feel like something's wrong. And we're interpreting fear to mean something that it's not. Where fear is actually this opportunity to rise. It's an invitation into our greatest strength, our greatest desires, and everything we desire is on the other side of fear. And that fear is extending us. It's a sign that we've hit that comfort zone and we're now in our growth zone. And that doesn't always feel comfortable. But when you feel uncomfortable, that's always a good sign, because it's a sign that you're growing. And so when you have fear, instead of seeing it as something to limit you, see it as something to strengthen you. There's a fabulous acronym that says fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear is, face everything and rise. It could be fear everything and run. Fear is not meant to keep us contracted. When we contract and we feel fear, we minimize and diminish our power. But when we remember our power, we see fear as fuel to power us through that challenge, to come out the other side and know that radiance is inevitable when we begin coding our body for radiance and being different. Like, that's my whole path on conventionality. We have to be able to be willing to go first. We are leaders. We're here to rise and lead others. And if we can't navigate the fear and go first, how are we going to lead others through similar experiences?
Thank you. Negative energies in your environment, or negative energies even from social media or from people that you meet at events, can affect your health and can lead to dimming your sparkle. And as an intuitive person, I've noticed that sometimes I have so much success in a certain area and I'm glowing and I'm feeling amazing and I feel sensual and sexy and healthy, and I just feel like I'm just full of light, and I'm just like so ready to give this light and to support and to help. And then I go sometimes to certain events, or even let's say I post on social media, and especially when I have something that most people find unattainable, I feel negative energy where I just like feel it kind of close to my body, and then sometimes I start to get ill. So I'm wondering, how can someone protect themselves from these negative energies? Or how can someone, let's say, in the face of recurring negative energy that comes from the world, especially when you are always in the spotlight, how can you eliminate poor health, and how can you kind of stay clear of all of these negative energies so you can continue to have that radiant health?
Of course. Yes, it's a brilliant question. And one thing that comes to mind is being a lighthouse. When we feel so amazing and we're radiating and we're glowing and we're sparkling, it's like people are magnetized to us. This is feminine energetics. We're not out there pouring our light out and giving it to everyone and dimming ourselves in the process. We are amplifying our light and people are attracted to it. And so when we're in the world, it's like Dr. Dane here, who's an amazing chiropractor, says that all the thoughts, feelings, emotions, fears, doubts, limitations, 99.9% of all of those aren't even ours. So many of us think that these things are ours, or we take it on like it's ours instead of saying, is this even mine? Or we don't even question these negative thoughts, or we forget sometimes that any negative energy, any projection is not even personal. Don Miguel Ruiz in his book, The 5 Agreements, talks about don't take anything personally. And so it's someone's triggered that's their treasure to uncover. Your success is sparking their latent potential that they have not yet activated. And so instead of taking it on, it's like return to sender. And just in your energetic practice, you can imagine like a sphere of white or golden light around you and just release. And you can say, clear my aura. Our words are very powerful, and our words code our reality as well. And so when you begin to own your power through your thoughts, your words, your energy, you can start to experience so much more of just clear that energy and envision yourself in that golden light, and have that golden light around you when you're going and speaking, when you're going and having a meeting, when you're in public.
Thank you. Tell us about people who are chronically ill at the moment. How can they get radiant health? And how can they, let's say, eliminate perhaps like trapped emotions or any other things that are kind of holding them back from releasing the thing that is causing them the illness, so they can again embody that amazing wellness?
Of course. So this is such a passion of mine because my mom has been healing from chronic illness for the last few years, and she's been my biggest inspiration and motivation on this path. And knowing that we live in an environment, in a world where there is toxicity, there are chemicals, there are pathogens that we are exposed to. We do not manifest our symptoms. I don't like hearing in the spiritual community that you manifest your illness, your condition. No, there are pathogens, there are toxins, there are physical things at the root, and we need to get to the root. Something I see so often is misleading, misconstrued information that's telling you how to heal chronic illness. Maybe it feels like it's working, and then in the long term, it actually has a harmful effect. And all of these health trends, a lot of these health trends are actually more harming than they're promoting health. And that makes me so angry, because we live in a world where it's a healthcare system that's actually a disease care system. When a patient is healed, the profit is lost. And so that is why it's so important for us to reclaim our power and realize we have so much power in our hands to nourish our bodies, to hydrate. It's really about nourishing your body with the food, the healing, radiant food that's going to create the transformation, and eliminating foods that feed pathogens that are a source of toxicity. And it's such a holistic and customized approach, but there's so many elements there. And then with the emotions, there can be physical toxic heavy metals in the brain impacting the emotional areas in your brain that in fact impact your emotions. And so when you start to focus on your physical body, these emotional and mental imbalances come into balance again. So it's all complex and intricate and connected.
Thank you. I've noticed that the most healing things are actually free. So I've lived in London for the last 20 years. And what I've found recently is that, like, I was ill for the last 10 years with sore throat and cough and migraine, right? Then I stayed in Spain just for 3 months in the sun and, going to the pool every day. And all of a sudden I'm like 90% recovered. And then also what I've noticed is, let's say I've returned to London, okay, and I was sick for 5 months. And then as the sun comes out again, from like April, mid-April and so on, I'm healthy again and I'm thriving. And then the sun kind of like, dimmed out and it's cold again. And I'm kind of slowly, catching a cold, and my sore throat is hurting again. So it's like, I find it so interesting that actually a lot of the really, the things that can lead to our radiant health could be like so simple and, so healing, like the sun, and just even, for example, going to the park and sitting on the park bench for like 20 minutes helps me so much to deal with some of the stresses of my business. And it makes me feel almost like I'm on holiday. So I'm wondering if you can tell us some really amazing hacks for free healing.
Of course. And I would be happy to share with your audience. I created embodied biohacking. So I started biohacking a long time ago. I really feel like, in essence, it is simple. It's nature. It's grounding. It's sitting on a bench in the park. It's sitting by a tree. It's putting your feet on the earth. It's feeling the sunshine on your skin. The sun is so healing for the skin, for our digestion. It helps regulate our hormones. It helps our sleep cycle, our circadian rhythm. So many things are free. And sunshine is my favorite. And if you will, you can do it in the morning or the evening when the UV rays are gentlest, and you want to avoid chemical-based sunscreen. So that's something you want to avoid, and just get natural sunlight on your bare skin. And you can prime your skin to build your melanin stores over time. So start with 5 minutes a day and then increase up to that, because that melanin and the vitamin D that's synthesized is so foundational. Another thing you can do is just get in nature, a park, a river, an ocean. There are negative ions that help harmonize our field, because when we're around EMF from cell phones, computers, power lines, 5G, Bluetooth, all of that radiation creates a positive charge on our bodies. And so when we go into nature, that helps neutralize it. There are so many different things that I love. I also really love gua sha. If you've heard of gua sha, it's a skin scraping traditional Chinese medicine technique to really support lymphatic flow and drainage and hydration. One of my favorite biohacks is simply lemon water. So you can drink lemon water to enhance your body's cleansing process, support your liver, weight loss, detoxification, skin health, digestive health, everything. It will be incredible for you.
Thank you. Tell us more about any tools for therapies that could lead to radiant health. And the reason I ask you this is, for example, for a long time, I was using this tool called Bioptron. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's like a light machine. And I'm not sure exactly of the science behind it, but it helps with my skin because I suffer from acne. And I find that it closes the pores. And then I also find in the winter, when there's not a lot of sun, I find it quite relaxing just to have like a warm thing that is kind of warming my skin. I'm not sure if it's because it gives me the illusion of having a little bit of sun that is kind of, touching my skin. And it's also good for pain, and I find that aside from, those kind of therapies, I've had other people that were talking about, red light therapy or other things. And I also find, for example, the pool to be a very soothing, not free, but almost free healing tool as well. So I'm wondering, do you have any therapies or any tools that you could recommend for people to have radiant health?
Of course. The one that comes to mind first is your breath. Breath work is something that's been so powerful for me to reconnect to my body. And it's the one part of your autonomic nervous system that is something you can control. So you can always regulate your nervous system through breathing more intentionally, more consciously. And that alone will change so much for you. Breath work has so many benefits. Calming breath work, breathing in through the nose for 4 counts and out through the mouth for 8 counts. And if you're listeners, maybe you want to try it with me now, you can just place a hand on your heart and one on your abdomen, and you're going to breathe into your belly first. So you'll breathe in for 4. You'll feel your chest rise. And then exhale for 8, 4, 6, and 8. And just feel how that brings you into heart coherence. Heart coherence is so powerful and so essential for healing, because we're not in that activated sympathetic nervous system state. We're in the parasympathetic nervous system. Another tool is meditation, which is free. Just meditating and regulating your nervous system, letting your brain come out of that kinetic energy and into more of that receiving energy. I love red light therapy. I have a red light therapy face mask. So that's something that I've seen a lot of clients love for their acne and different things, but I meditate with that. I love to habit stack, and I love infrared saunas. Infrared saunas help promote elimination, detoxification, energy, mitochondrial health, everything, muscular recovery after workouts, etc. There are so many ways to enhance your natural radiance and vitality, but let's start with aligning your body to nature. So maybe that's getting off your device earlier in the evening, putting on red light or red lens glasses to block the blue light to get yourself into that regulated state for a deeper sleep. Sleep is essential. That's what I'll conclude with, is sleep, really optimizing your sleep. So much healing, cleansing, and regeneration occurs while we sleep.
Thank you. I actually really agree with that, because especially the sleep, I find that for a long time I had a really bad sleep routine, going to bed at 4 a.m. and then waking up late. And
Oh my
that
goodness.
leading to like me having like, dark eye circles and overall feeling groggy all day, or although I wasn't drinking. And so sleep definitely, I find that, regulating my sleep has definitely helped. And the other thing that I'm a big fan of is vegetable juices. So for example, like celery and things like that. Are there any other things you recommend for entrepreneurial women to drink or to eat or to avoid drinking in order to have radiant health?
Yes, a big thing is begin your day with lemon water, 16 to 32 ounces of lemon water before any caffeine, any food. Let your body begin to hydrate, heal, cleanse, and alkalize. If you can get a celery juice in, if you can do a green juice, that'll be amazing. Smoothies are my favorite way to begin the day. So I do a fat-free morning and I have fruit for breakfast because fruit is so healing, so essential for the body to heal. And then finally, I will say adrenal snacking. Women, when we're high achievers, type A women, we push way beyond our body, our adrenal health. And so eating every 2 hours, having a little fruit snack, red apple, having more fruit is going to change everything for reproductive health, fertility, for skin, digestion, everything. So that will make a huge difference, and you won't find yourself depending on caffeine or those other stimulants to create this false sense of energy that actually really taxes your adrenals and compromises radiant health.
Thank you. The other thing that I found very beneficial is actually occasionally getting a massage, especially when I'm abroad. I find because I prefer to be kinesthetic. So I mean, I prefer to basically to be touched. And when I don't get that for a really long time, then it's like I feel like I need that. And I also feel that when I do get a massage, I just get this immense release of negative emotions, especially if you pair that up with a hammam, the process
I
where,
love hammams.
yeah,
Yeah.
the process where they scrub your skin and leave you feeling radiant and ultra clean. And I think there's also another thing that is very important, to be in a stress-free environment where the people you live with don't actually stress you out. Is there any other last thought you would like to tell us about how women can create?
I feel like it's so personalized. So what I would love for every woman to tune into is close your eyes and just feel like let your body show you what radiance feels like. Let yourself feel what it feels like to be a radiant woman. How do you move your body? How do you feel? How do you speak? What do you wear? Are you living in alignment with that version that you aspire to become and be? Because where you are does not determine where you are going, but who you are being influences who you're becoming. So focusing on who you are and really focus on the self-care and the wellness rituals that feel nourishing to you. I love massage. And if you do massage, that's a manual lymphatic drainage. So one tip I have for you is to drink lemon water after to really support the release of the lymphatic system. We want to cleanse our environment. Everything is interconnected, our home, our relationships, our products, etc. But we also want to cleanse our internal landscape and our body. So everything you do is bringing you closer to radiant health. And when you have that larger context of radiance, it inspires you to move in a different way, because the ultimate essence of radiance is the soul glow. It's about not just your physical body, but you unleashing your true power, your true potential as this vibrant, limitless soul that you are.
Thank you. If you have another minute, I would like to ask you about the frequency of words, and how does the frequency of words empower or disempower you as a woman to create your radiant wellness?
Of course. So Dr. Masaru Emoto, he was a Japanese scientist who studied water, and he put water that was exposed to certain frequencies of music, words, etc. under the microscope. And those associated with gratitude, love, joy had these pristine crystal structures. Those exposed to words like hate, fear, doubt, neglect had distorted crystalline structures. So our bodies are about roughly 70% water, more than that, but we are living vibrations that are responding to frequencies, words, music, sound. So when we speak into our existence, oh, I've always been this way, it's not possible for me, there's a heavy energetic there. And we need to realize our power as creators, that as we speak, our words are codes that are unlocking realities, potentials in the quantum field. So notice how you speak, how, like, maybe you want to look at how you feel in your life right now for the women listening and see, okay, how was I speaking in the past? And now, in alignment with radiance, how do I speak going forward, knowing that I am healing? I am in the process of becoming, instead of like, oh, well, it hasn't happened yet, so it won't happen. I'm not getting better. I'll never get better. Radiant health isn't possible for me. I'll never lose the weight. Whatever it is that women say to themselves. It's like the more we say it, the more we believe. It's not just about saying it, it's about feeling it. And so whatever you believe to be true will be. And so if we believe in our empowerment and our healing and our growth, our becoming, that will be, because that belief will align us with the aligned actions to become that. And so knowing when someone is talking to you and asking you how you are, how do we respond? It's like, to be honest, I'm feeling a lot of emotion today. However, I know that I am in the process of growth and becoming. And while I fear a lot right now, or there's so much stress on my plate, I know I have the resources to get through this. And this is actually a testament to my strength rather than a sign of my weakness. Instead of going into the disempowering victim, like, oh, why is this happening to me? It's like, how can I rise to this challenge and overcome this fear? Because I know that it's an incredible part of my becoming, which if I don't let it distract me, my becoming, my radiance is inevitable.
Thank you. Tell us where entrepreneurs can connect with you so they too can create radiant health.
Of course. So my Instagram is my favorite place to be on social media. And the handle is at I am, like the mantra, I am Anna Fink. That's ANNAFINCK. And I'm also on Facebook, and that is Anna Fink on Facebook. I have my website, which is www.annafink.com. For those of you who would like to connect, I'd love to chat and support you in becoming your best wellness architect and lifestyle designer, because your radiant wellness, your radiant health is yours to architect, yours to create, yours to experience.
Thank you. Follow me for more interviews with world's most innovative health changemakers to live your healthiest life ever.